Hey everybody, welcome back to my kitchen and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to cook up something delicious. So pull up a chair, sit down, and let's cook together. I love Toscano soup, Zuppa Toscana soup, and I love Italian wedding soup. So today I'm actually going to incorporate the two because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to have. So why not? It's the best of both worlds. They'll work well together. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put our pot on the stove and we're just going to turn it on kind of low for now. We're going to add in 2 containers of chicken broth. So we're just going to pour that right on in, the whole entire container. It's going to take all of this one and all of one more. There we go. Now let's get that other one poured in. I'll pour that one straight on in, down to the last drop. Now you can use chicken broth or chicken stock, either one. I chose broth. You can also just use water and bouillon, which I'm going to add some extra bouillon because I like a little bit of extra flavor. But for now, we've got our chicken broth in there. Now you're going to add in a whole pint of heavy whipping cream.
With chunks and everything.
No chunks in ours. We watched a video the other day and they poured something in and it had chunks and they said, oh, that's just how the fat separates. And that's what all the comments said too. But in my book, if that stuff is chunky, throw it out. We're going to add in our vegetables next. We have about a half a cup of chopped up carrots, about a half a cup of minced up onions, and 5 cloves of fresh garlic. So we're going to toss that right on in here. So we're just going to put that right on down in. Try not to splash it everywhere like I did, but we'll just go a little bit slower. Just a little bit slower. We want to get this all in here so this gives this a nice good flavoring. That chubby cat's crying.
Because he knows we're making food and it's not for him.
That's why this channel is called Whiskers and Whisks, because you can't do anything without those whiskers.
Because he's just sitting here walking around my feet, rubbing on the stove, and crying.
Why are you being a sissy? Alright, so we got that all down in there. Just going to give it a stir, not that you need to. And we're going to add some salt and pepper. Just a little bit of salt. Because you can flavor this and season this later as you go. I just want to get some of these seasonings cooked into this before I go and put in. We're going to add potatoes, we're going to add kale, and we're going to add some hot sausage, little itty bitty teeny tiny meatballs. Because like I said, this is a combination of Toscano soup and Italian wedding soup because they're kind of similarly the same and I couldn't decide which one I wanted to make. So this is a let's do it and try. And we got ourselves some acini de pepe noodles here. We have our potatoes washed over there.
If you have to go buy these, just know that, see how small this box is? I was looking for like a normal size box and almost missed them. They're just little teeny tiny. It's like sand.
They're like little things they're even smaller than a spaghetti noodle. Like.
And it's pepe. Don't ask for pee-pee noodles because they won't know what you're talking about.
And we got our potatoes washed. We're going to put those through our slicer in a little bit. They're one of the last things to go in. We're going to get this soup mixing up here. I'm going to add some crushed red peppers. Because you want to add a little bit of that even though you got the spice in it. Uh-oh. We're just showing everybody our closet in here.
Oh, yeah. We overstock like we're getting ready to have a hurricane because that happens in Florida.
Yeah, I'm trying
So
to
we
find
keep like 3 cases of water down there. It's normally 4 or low.
Where the heck is my...
And of course,
here it is.
Lots of hot sauce. Gotta have extra hot sauces.
Yeah, nobody can say we're gonna starve around this place.
Custom built racks for all the spices.
all them nice brand new containers up there for all the flours and sugars.
Yeah, because we need 18 different kinds of flour, I guess.
It's fine.
And enough spaghetti to feed the whole neighborhood if we need to.
So we're just going to add in about a tablespoon or two of, I don't want to put too much because my sausage is spicy hot sausage too. Again, you can add more if you need more later. We're just starting off with the very simplified ingredients for now. So we're going to let this cook and let the carrots and the onions cook a little bit and mix and mingle in this soup mix. We may end up adding a little bit of water and some chicken bouillon, but we need to see how this tastes first once these veggies get marinating in there with the garlic and the onions and the carrots. So we'll see you back real soon. While we got that on, we're going to take our pound of hot pork sausage and we're going to make ourselves some teeny tiny meatballs. Now you can do this one of two ways. Once your meatballs are done, you can fry them on the stove and then put them in. Or you can roll them and just drop them right down in the soup. So the flavor and the grease and all get right down into the soup. You're going to take your sausage and you're going to add, it's already spiced, but we're just going to pump it up a little bit. So a little pepper and salt. That was the salt. And the pepper. I'm going to add a little bit of granulated garlic. So I think even when you buy stuff, it still needs a little bit of helping power. So put some garlic, onion, and some Italian seasonings.
Italian seasoning?
Italian. And just a smidge of breadcrumbs. Well, I watched a fella that's an Italian guy cook these the other day, and he put in wet bread. He literally took his bread, put it under the water, wrung it out, and put it in there. I'm not doing that. You're going to take and mix this all together so you get all your seasonings incorporated here. Now you can also do this half and half. You can do half pork with half beef, or 3/4. Do a third pork, a third beef, a third veal. You can do all beef, which I don't recommend, but you can do all pork, which is what I'm going with because that's all you use in Toscana soup. So I didn't get, and I don't want to make a huge thing. That's the other thing. So if I mixed pork and beef together, I was going to end up with a ton of meatballs. Like way too many meatballs. Not that we couldn't have used them in another meal, but I'm just going with, I'm leaning towards the Zuppa Toscana recipe other than adding the little meatballs. We're going to add the noodles and the carrots and onions. We're putting the carrots in here. So you want very, very tiny meatballs. Teeny, teeny, tiny meatballs. So you're just basically going to pick off a little pinch and you're going to get a little meatball like that and roll it out. So we're going to get these all rolled out here.
And you got to put it on a Steelers plate because they won't taste right if you don't.
I just didn't want to dirty a dish, so I put it on our Steelers paper plates. Now I would say this is probably only about, oh Lord, half a tablespoon of meat that you're making these meatballs with. So we'll roll these all out and we'll be right back. Look at that. Those are all rolled out. They're just, look how tiny they are. Just like the size of your thumbnail. I got some homemade Italian oil here and we're gonna go ahead and put that in and let that heat up. We're gonna let that heat up down here. It's olive oil with some Italian seasoning, garlic, onion powder. Let that heat and we're gonna fry our little teeny tiny meatballs. We have our oil heated up and we're just gonna fry these little sausage balls. So we're gonna get them all in here and get them fried up. Got those all in. There's over 50 meatballs in here. I stopped counting after 50. We're just gonna let them fry up on one side, flip them over, fry them up on the other side, put them on a paper towel, and then we're gonna add them to the soup. So our little tiny meatballs are done. We just took our cutting board and we placed some paper towels on there. We're gonna drain a little bit of the grease. Got them a little bit crispy, not too crispy, and then we're gonna pop them right down on into that soup. All right, so we got our 50 plus meatballs. They're lightly drained. We're just gonna put them in so they can season up this sauce some more. So we'll get these all in there. We're gonna take about 5 potatoes and we're gonna use our mandolin and we're gonna slice these up, skins and all. They've already been washed. Now you can let your potatoes like this. The mandolin slices them like that. I'm gonna cut these in half because I don't like the bigger sizes. All right, so we have all of our little tiny meatballs in here. Looks like we could have used a ton more, but I think it'll even out with the potatoes, the noodles, and everything else. There's 50 plus of those little tiny meatballs in here, but you can't really even see how many's in here. So we're gonna turn this up, get this boiling, and we're gonna add in our potatoes that we have now sliced them in half as well. I went ahead and added just a little bit more of red pepper flakes. I'm gonna put in a half a teaspoon of ham base and a half a teaspoon of chicken base, just to give it a little bit more of a pork flavor as that pork cooks. That's got a slight boil going to it, so we're just gonna go ahead and add our potatoes. Now these potatoes, because they're thin, they will cook quickly. So we're gonna add those, and then once it becomes a full boil, we're gonna go ahead and add our acina de pepe noodles. And right before they're about done is when you're gonna add your kale. So let's get all these potatoes in there and we'll be right back. Once your kale's washed, you're just gonna rip the leaves right off the stems and you're gonna rip them into pieces. No fancy cutting needed, just get them all into pieces. All those potatoes are in there, the meatballs, carrots, onions, garlic. Oh, this looks phenomenal. Now that this is boiling, we're gonna go ahead and add in half a box of the acini de pepe, not PP, noodles. So let's see. Let's go with half a box there. We're gonna let that come to boil those noodles a little bit. And we're gonna start adding the kale in. We went with the whole box. We're gonna let those swell up. We're gonna cook them for 5 minutes. Then we're gonna add the kale for the last 3 minutes. Man, just look at that. That's phenomenal. We're gonna go ahead and plate some of that up or put it in a bowl and we're gonna try it out. There y'all have it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Till next time, stay cooking.